Hi guys, welcome to my craft room. I just came here today to share with you where I spend most of my time, where I complete 99% of my projects. And I'm going to start by slowly panning the room so I won't make you guys dizzy. I'm going to start by just mentioning really quickly this accordion fold door. I took off my original door so that I would be able to maximize this space behind the door by putting shelving up and storage baskets. So I'll get back to that area in a second. I'm going to start over here officially at my office area. This is the area where I've taken off the doors to my closet. They were sliding doors. I put inside of this closet area, which is now my office space, a folding table. It's pretty sturdy. I'm a new Mac owner, so there's my Mac up there. iPad, 10-inch tablet, favorite poems, and I'm going to start in this corner. What you see here is my edible printer. It's a Canon MG6820. On top of the scanner bed are water bottles that I like to decorate. In this area in the closet, you see pegboard. This pegboard I use as an organizer for jewelry, as well as these mini organizers here. At the top of the closet, the shelving holds all of the overflow of products that I have, including bags, bins, and boxes, tumblers. It just houses a lot. I need to go through it and organize it, but this is where I have a lot of the overflow. In these cube shelves, I store cardstock, 8.5 by 11 and 12 by 12. I store glitter paper packs. Once I open and cut them, I put the cut pieces inside of binders so that I can keep all of the scraps because I use those as well. My acetate sheets are stored here, as well as small paper collection, digital collections that I print out. I put them in there as well. In these drawers, we have stickers, we have washi tape, we have measuring tools, and at the bottom I have pens, pencils, crayons, staples, etc. Next to it, in these vertical slots, we have all of my shipping labels, the round labels, glossy photo paper, laminating paper. I use a lot of those sheet protectors for almost everything I do, and to store, especially invoices, I put them in there. So these slots are very useful and handy when I'm getting ready to pack, print, when I'm getting ready to store things. I particularly come here. I have the thicker laminating sheets from Scotch. I think those are 5 mil, and I also have the 3 mil as well. So depending on the project, I'll use certain laminating sheets for certain things. And this top cubed drawer holds most of my envelopes, and the bottom has just wallets and boxes and different things like that. All of these here, well, both of these here have software for my computer equipment. And above are small organza bags for storage. That's where I store mine. Here I have quite a few headphones. I use a lot of Bluetooth headphones, so when one goes down, I'll just grab another one, and that's basically where I choose to hang them for the moment. Up here I have a hanging shelf. I use this to organize my resin supplies, as in the tools that I would need, the little silicone cups, scoops, tongs, medicine cups, different things like that, the disposable mask, the torch lighter. Below it here, just because it has the option for me to hang things, I chose to hang my cinch spiral accessories here. In this corner over here, I hang all of my metal rulers, and I have some that are not hung as well on the other side of the room, and I tend to use the metal rulers a lot. As I slowly swing this way, hanging on a wall, I use hooks. The top hook holds if I'm working on rhinestones or beads and I need to keep it in a contained area. I'll put it on this tray. Below it, I have a clipboard hanging, and currently it's holding my sign-in sheets, and when I go to different shows or events, I collect email and names on social media of how I can get in contact with people. So that's that. Here is my storage of rhinestones, resin stones, glass stones. They are in these containers. I still have more, but these were the ones that I was working with and on. So this is how I chose to store them. This mat below is an EK Tools, I believe it's 12 by 12. This is a small mat that I use to work on when I'm working in the corner area right here on stones and beads and things of that nature. In the back, I have a utility shelf. It holds my blades for my cutters. It also holds a 3-hole punch, a brayer, dry erase, board eraser, and a couple other things I can't really see. In this caddy here, I received from Avon, and I hold all of my tools that I like to keep handy. I just tend to stick them inside these elastic bands, and it holds a lot, as you can see. I pretty much have it overrun with things. There's storage on the inside. Storage actually all the way around the whole basket. If it's still available and anybody sees it, I think it's a great addition to your craft room. I have several bling tools in that area. I have brushes and sticks and just all types of things that aid in the successful completion of my projects. Up top, I have a third hand, I believe it's called. I know it is great. At first I didn't use it as much. I didn't think I needed the magnification portion, but now I see that they really do help with setting stones and being able to clearly see your work. It has a light, LED light on the side. It's great. I'm so glad that I made that purchase and I started to use it more and more. It does not put a strain on my eyes at all. Here are some other tools. Originally, they are really carving tools for pumpkins, but I know in me working with resin and things like that, these tools can really help with working with the resin, working with clay, and just, you know, it's just really great to have. Right here, standing inside of this glass container, are some brushes I like to keep handy and some sticks. Back there in this test glass, when I was starting to decorate glasses, painting them, this would be the glass that I would use to test all the paint. So that's the reason why it looks like this, and it's still functional. I keep all of my lighters for when I'm burning ribbon and different things. I put all the lighters in there. Above this area, I have a dry erase board. On this dry erase board and around the dry erase board, there are different charts. When I started crafting, I needed reminders of how and what I was doing, and if anybody was working with me, these charts helped them to complete projects, and they would just look on the different sheets and see exactly what pressure they needed to be on or what blade depth they need to be on. So it was I don't use them as much, but I still leave them up, so whoever I have working in with me, they'll know exactly what to do. I also had notes on how many pennants you would need to make certain banners. For example, the birthday banners, the congratulatory banners, and things like that. So at a glance, I would know exactly how many pennants I would need to pull and just work a little faster. Here is the first few fonts I started with, so I decided to print them all out, and I have a lot more now, but these were my go-to fonts. If anybody would need these charts, please just make a comment below and I would not mind forwarding them to you. Above this area is a nice project that myself and my brother worked on. This is really his art piece. It has quite a few different mixed media elements on it, and I don't know if you were able to see the foiling or the fact that certain objects are raised, but then we have vinyl. So we really enjoyed working on this, and I decided to give it a home in my room until he finishes his room and take it back. So this area here are all of my wet adhesives. This is where I use to store my wet glues. The more projects that I have learned to do, the more glues that I see that I prefer to use for certain things. The different Mod Podges, glossy accents, gem tacks, liquid fusion, the alien tack it over and over. I really like to use that, especially when it's time to make glue dots or restick my mats for my electronic cutting machines. E6000 I use a lot for jewelry making and working with rhinestones. Inside of this jar, this baby food jar, I mixed aliens, tack it over and over in water, and that's how I re-stick my Cricut mats. Generally, I'll re-stick them once or twice, and then I'll just buy new ones. I used to use them longer than that, but now I just chose to get new mats. Here is my Xyron Sticker Maker Max. It makes stickers as wide as, I believe, 5 inches. I don't use the sticker maker as much anymore because it's a little expensive to buy the cartridges. So sometimes it's easier to use other methods to adhere certain projects or to make a sticker. Below it in this tray are some of my heat tools. I have the flat iron, which helps me to adhere heat transfer vinyl onto different projects. This is my heat gun. In the back is one of my foam cutters that you plug in and it gets hot. I use Teflon sheets as much as I can to cover my work so the tools won't get messed up, and also so the work won't mess up either. Here is my cinch binding machine. There is my We Are Memory Keeper, what is this called? Crocodile. It's very strong. I really like it. It has measuring features on it to help get accurate punches. So I really like that. In the back is a project that I had worked on for a party for Malia. Beautiful. Everything came out so nice. So a lot of times inside of my room, you'll see different projects that I'm working on. It just keeps me motivated, and I just like to see a lot of the work that I have done in order to keep me inspired. This is my Tekra button maker. It was a very early investment in my business. I felt that it was a little expensive, but once I received it and I see the quality that it is, it's heavy duty and it's just long lasting, and I can tell that I've had it for a couple of years. I'm pretty happy that I made that purchase. These are some magnets that I have made. I have made pin back buttons. I have made earrings with it. This particular size that it makes only is 1.5 inches. Above on the wall, the trays that you see are above on the wall. The trays that you see are from Dollar Tree. It holds a lot of storage. Currently, inside of them, those are sequins, and those tins also come from Dollar Tree. They already have a magnet on the bottom, so it was easy to use that as storage. Here is my black toner laser printer. I purchased the laser printer as well as a Scotch laminator in order to do foiling projects. But since I don't do foiling projects as much anymore, the printer does not get used because it's not full color, and I have inkjet for that. But it's still plugged up and ready to go whenever I decide to go back to, use that technique. So this is an example of the foiling technique that I use the laser toner and the laminator in order to, I'll just leave it, in order to complete the projects. So that's that, very nice. These are some examples of cards that I have made in the past. So right below the laser printer, I have a small box, and inside that box I have some previously printed prints that I still have yet to use for different projects. So in the future, I plan on using those toner prints in order to make some more foil projects. Above the laminator and the printer is a pegboard, and hanging on the pegboard is just quite a few different items that I have that I choose to sit out so I can be reminded to actually use them. So that is basically what those peg boards are. I purchased the peg boards also from Home Depot, painted them, had them cut there. These particular ones I believe are 12 by 12, and then I run them home, and that's the way I use to organize some of my inventory. Here is another tray hanging on the wall as an organizer with the tins, and inside these tins as well are sequins, and hanging on the tray is glass magnets that I use and hand painted, and I like to use those around as well as much as I can. Below the printer is my ATG gun. I use that for a lot of my projects as well. It's easy to load. The double-sided tape holds very well, and I really like that about it. So I did build this stand out of foam core. So it's one of those DIY projects, but I wanted a stand for my ATG gun, so I made one. On this table right here, I almost forgot to mention that, oh, and it needs cleaning too. Sorry about that, guys. What is that? Okay. I almost forgot to mention that the table that you're seeing right here is approximately a 3.5 foot table. I purchased a cutting mat from Fiskars, and it's a 24 by 36 double-sided cutting mat. I use that. It has taken a beating, as you can see. This particular one is older, but it works so well, I have no need to really change it. So under it, I have a shelf liner so it won't slide. And then under that, this whole black portion, I've turned the whole tabletop into an ironing board. I made an ironing board full table size for my sewing projects and pressing projects. So basically all I have to do is remove the cutting mat and use the ironing board. It has the foam already on there, and then I stapled the fabric into a large piece of wood, and then there you have it. So my table is not going to take the heat as well. Everything is pretty much going to function as it should. What you see me basically pushing around right now is my graphic tablet. It's the Helion 1060 Plus Pro, I believe that's what it's called. This is how I do a lot of my digital designs, and I use this particular tablet on my laptop. I have a Dell. These two are my silhouette cameos. I run business edition on both. I run business edition on both on my laptop, and I also run it on my Mac as well. Moving on over, this is the last cutting machine added to my craft room. It's the Cricut Maker. The original electronic cutting machine that I started with was the Cricut, and then I moved on into the Silhouette because I liked the capabilities that it had. Yet when Cricut came out with the Maker, I needed to have that as well because I liked the fact that I loved the fact that you are able to cut thicker materials. So here are my two paper cutters, manual ones. This area right here are more projects. This is a centerpiece. This is a chip bag. This was one of the favorite bags at the candy table. I use his picture actually on some Play-Doh. So that's what this little circle is for. He had personalized Play-Doh. So cute. This card here is the first card I made with the Cricut Maker. It was one of the first projects they suggested that you do to get familiar with all of the features for the Cricut Maker. So you had the feature where you cut the fabric, and then it has the print portion where you, I believe, what do you use the pens, and then it had the cut feature. So it was pretty cool, really cool. Here is where I store most of my florals, right in the baskets, right on top of the printer. This printer is the 7520. This was the very first printer that I purchased years ago when I decided to start my own business. It prints 8.5 by 11, 11 by 17. It prints multiple sizes. The largest that I have printed was 12 by 12 and 11 by 17. It has the 2 trays. Most of the projects that you see in this area were printed using this printer. For example, the Hershey labels, the mint book, the chapstick holder label, or the chapstick label, the scratch off. All of that was printed using this printer. So it prints very well. It's older and it's starting to have a few little issues, and I'm certain it's out of warranty, but it does print very well. Here are some more iron-on transfers that I use with the kids. I don't use that for professional projects, but I do use it for personal projects with the kids. Hanging on the wall in this basket are all of my tapes, as far as transfer tapes and heat tapes. And the heat tape that I use, I purchased on Amazon. This is the copper tape. But before that, I was using painter's tape as my heat tape in my heat press, and I never had a problem with it. It never left a mark or any residue. So I still use that sometimes when I'm holding things down to put in my heat press. But that's my transfer tapes. I have the hot fix tape up there that goes with the rhinestones. I have the masks that go with transferring the images for the print and cut. HTV vinyl, printable vinyl. So all of that is in that basket. I keep the scraps. I keep everything. I do not reuse the tape after I have used it in the heat press. I don't do that because there's an image ghosted on the heat tape. It's hard to see, but it will ruin future projects. Hanging on the wall here is one of my earlier DIY projects. It was created using the foam core board from Dollar Tree and glitter from Walmart. And it actually is what inspired the color, kind of sort of, to the paint on the walls inside of this actual room. This storage was made with the foam core and hot glue. And I think I used an X-Acto knife just to cut the board into, the shape that needed to be glued down and to what you see here. It has fallen maybe once, but it's never broken. So all of those little holes that you see at the top was from it being retacked to the wall, or because I use thin tack, so I wanted to put another one up there so it wouldn't slide off. But this is a significant amount of weight, so I think that if you would like to try it for temporary use, even though mine is not so temporary, it might be a good idea for you guys that want to DIY your own little shelving to try it. Again, here are my florals, and inside of the florals you see different prints that I have made using the print and cut method on the cutters. Here is my daughter's graduation cap that I use heat transfer vinyl, cardstock, and I did some rhinestone work to the center, along with adding a picture of my grandmother to her cap, and everything turned out so beautifully and it worked out so well. And I'm actually holding it in my craft room until we can find a better way to display her cap. So in this corner we have some paper tubes, corrugated cardboard. I also have butcher paper and all of the things that are on a roll as far as paper or cellophane plastic. All of that is in this corner, so I do have a home for those things. Down towards the floor there is a box down there, 2 shipping boxes turned on their side, so it would help the tubes to stand straight up in some type of organization. Above that area is the foils that I keep on a roll. I know I need to keep them nice and straight and neat, so I chose to put them in this organizer here. There are also swatches from the vinyl manufacturers that I choose to use, as well as lint rollers and brushes in this area. Swinging towards my window, I have my mannequin when I get ready to sew, or when I am fitting certain t-shirts and items and testing things out, or want to take pictures. This is the mannequin dress form that I choose to use. This has the birthday squad shirt I was working on for an order, and below it, so that's glitter HTV in case you don't know. And then below it, I used the print and cut heat transfer vinyl, printable vinyl. And that's what was printed with the Epson WF7520. That's a t-shirt, as well as this t-shirt that is on my heat press. I purchased my heat press from, I believe it was Heat Press Nation maybe 6 years ago. So I've had it for quite a while. And next to it is another shirt that I was working on. Next to it, what is this? This is a pot holder and towel set. Working on that. Also heat transfer vinyl. I pressed the stones from my heat press onto an apron. So all that you see here, I was able to do on my heat press. On the left and the right side of the heat press, those blue boxes help me maximize the space that I have next to the heat press. So if I'm spreading a shirt out or a garment out, I can evenly see the left and the right side of it without it draping over the side of the heat press and me having to keep lifting it up. So basically I raised the area so I could have almost like a table next to it. Here is my rulers. I have a T-square and I have a Foamworks ruler. The Foamworks ruler doesn't slide. It has some like an anti-slip type of grip on the bottom of it. So I really like to use that when I'm cutting with the foam, because I'm using normally a scalpel or some type of really sharp blade, and I can't afford for the ruler or anything that I'm cutting around to slip. So I really like that feature on the Foamworks ruler. The T-square, it helps me to align my designs on the t-shirts evenly, and that was also a pretty early investment. So when I got the heat press, I got the T-square as well. Now I'm pretty much able to eyeball the designs, so to speak, so I don't have to use the T-square as much anymore, but I definitely still use it to double check. Hanging on the wall is another storage out of foam core that I started when I first I would say started developing my craft room. So there's another one. It also has been up there for quite a long time. And then I use paper clips and some tacks just to use as hangers up there. So it's kind of funny. But on that are nail polish. And I use a lot of nail polish when it comes time for me to do art. In fact, I use more nail polish for art than I do for my own nails. Below it is my convection oven. On top of the convection oven, I have a UV lamp and resin. And this is my cup turner. I use my convection oven for my sublimated mugs. Hanging on the sublimation oven's handle, door handle, that is a silicone heat mitt. I purchased that from Dollar Tree. Inside of the convection oven, there's a thermometer. It helps me get consistent and even heat. Below the oven, you have a series of drawers. Inside those drawers this particular drawer are things and tools I need for sublimation of the mugs, like the wraps and things like that. Below that, I have a storage sterilite drawer set. And one particular drawer I want to point out is this middle drawer. In this middle drawer, I keep all of my adhesives as far as the dry adhesives. So I have tapes in there, I have double stick tape, I have scotch tape, electrical tape, I have rubber bands. What else is in here? Zip ties, just all types of things, but I try to keep my stuff as far as things like this in one area. Below this drawer are some of my sewing patterns, and that's how I organize those. Those are the ones that have yet to be cut. Those are pretty much new. I've never used them, but eventually I will. On the left and the right side of this storage area and sublimation area and resin area are portfolios. In this particular tall portfolio right here, this is how I store my vinyl sheets. They have plastic sleeves inside of this. I believe it's an 18 by 24. Yeah, 18 by 24 portfolio. So that is how I store my vinyl sheets. If it's sheets, it goes in there. If it's in a roll, it gets stored somewhere else. On the other side, there's other portfolios for other things, but basically all of my portfolios are in the same area. Here is my bookshelf. On the top of the bookshelf, you see all of the nail polishes as well as the TV. Yeah, it's pretty early at the moment. And then below it, I have my spray paints. I have alcohol two different alcohol strengths currently. There's a 70% and there's a 91%. I have Dawn, so I would make sure I clean off all of my brushes and things like that and equipment. There's the Angelus leather and fabric paint. Really good, really good. Again, the spray paints, the glitters. I have resin in the back. I use Amazing Clear Cast resin, Perfect Pearls, more glitter, just a lot of things to aid in, decorating. More glitters and chunky sequins and chunky glitters. Below it, I have all of the storage bins that I need to properly organize. Containers. I have hooks in there, stamps, more nail polish, some embellishments, it looks like, ribbons, curling ribbons. On the bottom shelf, I have some acrylic paint and my pencils, fabric markers, pastel chalks, and all of the things that I use for some art projects. Next to it is a bin that I have full of elastic and Velcro. This area here, I store my iron and my steamer. Here's the serger. Below it, I store foam brushes and perler beads, as well as other items in that Starlight container. But again, this is the Simplicity serger. I've had that for, I guess, over 20-something years. This is full of pins, straight pins, safety pins, and notions. This is my task light. I have a shower caddy hanging on the wall. It holds my water-soluble stabilizer and my heating bond. More straight pins. Here, excuse the light. Here is an example of what I did with my sublimation printer. This was when I had the trouble printing out, I think one of the colors was clogged. Let's say it was yellow. Yellow was clogged, everything printed out all pink. And, it still came out pretty. It almost looks like a filter, but I knew it wasn't supposed to be like that. But here is the mug that I made inside of the convection oven. You see everything is seamless and it's shiny, and the color is like baked into the actual mug itself. So that's the reason why I was very impressed with the sublimation process. Here is my Brother SE425 embroidery machine and my Singer Quantum Stylus sewing machine. Below it, I have a measuring tape taped to the side of the sewing table. This is for me to be able to measure things very, very quickly. Behind the embroidery machine, there's my first purchased Etsy project as a unicorn, just to test out the machine, and it turned out very well. It stitched out very well. It was not hard at all for me to work on that project, and I was really impressed with the design and pleased with the way the machine was able to handle the design. This spice rack is how I store my thread. Above that, I have cabinet organizers on a shelf that I made. These hold my tool rolls. I have containers for storage. Those are baby food jars. Those are pasta sauce jars. Then I have a couple of mason jars back there. Here is another project that I made for my daughter for her graduation. It was the hand sanitizer labels. So we have that. You can get very creative with things that have practical uses. Here are more jars for storage of items. I have sequins and stones and beads. Up top is just a collection of some of the decorations that I have that I use for events. So these are not the ones that I will use for my personal family. These are the ones I will use for events. And I'm swinging more towards the wicker baskets. These wicker baskets were purchased at AC Moore as a set that I'm quite sure they were on sale. So this basket here holds all of my vinyl scraps. So I'll put it in here generally, and then later on I will go through it and I will use the 3-ring binder that's back there and organize some of the scraps so that I would be able to reuse them. Here are my small 6x6 paper pads. So I store them in this small basket. This area holds a lot of the binders when I'm getting ready to show or share some projects. I typically will put some of the printed projects in a binder and take it with me and share the projects that I'm working on. There are more binders. I put sample projects, and then I store notes. I have one full of paper patterns for sewing. Over here is my Anna Griffin embossing machine. And those are the embossing folders in there. Sorry about the light. I'm going to swing around. This is a pocket organizer that I put a lot of tags in when I'm going to work on some projects and I have extra edges of the paper. I tend to put tags in the corner, so I stack up on a lot of them, and then throughout the year I just use the tags for many purposes. So this is how and where I store them. This thing is very, very what's the word? It is very helpful to have. Here is my light box. I'm not going to turn it on because the light is going to be very bright inside of the camera. And I also don't have the cords sitting near it. But these are the projects that I have to take pictures of. This is a bonnet, baby bonnet for a baby. And this is her little pillow. And I'm going to use the light box somehow to take pictures. I'm not as familiar with using it as much, but I'm going to make it work and I'm going to make it happen. So that's the pillow. On top is 2 other projects that I'm going to practice taking pictures with. These aren't new, but I am going to practice taking pictures with them. So I also do treats. So I want to know how to photograph them correctly when it's time. So that's the reason why I have those here. This is where I store my ring light, right behind the light box. Up here is a very special project that I was so happy to complete when I first started learning how to work with tools, especially woodworking tools. This is the first project that I made. Actually, it's the second project that I made. I made an carrier that was portable for jewelry. and it folded up and it looked so professionally done by the time I was finished with it. I'll show it to you actually later. I'll insert a picture. But this is the spinning rack that I'm going to ask you guys to cheer me on as I fill it up, to add products to my shop and to also work on new techniques. So this spinning rack has storage at the top. It's a lid up there. See it? And it's all four sides. And I was just so happy. I made it all by myself. And I look forward to filling it up, like I said. The different woodworking tools that I use are under the table. They are the Ryobi jigsaw, the Ryobi sander. I have a Ryobi. You can't see it now. Really? Can you? Yes, under there. That's the scroll saw back there. In fact, that's the showcase that I made, the first project. It's down there. This bag is my tool bag, and one day I'll actually open it up and show you the different types of tools that I use to achieve those success on those projects. I mean, I haven't worked on a lot of woodworking projects, but I was very happy that I knew enough to get things done for that. Next to the saw and sander, I have some more foam tools because I work with foam a lot. And I also have a rotary tool. I have a Dremel, a professional Dremel somewhere under here too. So, yeah. Again, I just want to say thank you for staying and viewing my room tour. Oh, I have one last thing. This is where I store all of my jewelry making supplies, as well as here. And I have more in a bin. But again, where was I? I just want to say thank you for sticking with me through my room tour. I want to welcome you back the next time. I look forward to sharing different projects and processes with you. And I just want to wish you all much success in your creative journeys. Talk to you soon. Bye.